welcome to the Energy Elevation Lab. I'm your host, Lauren Archer, and this is a show where science meets spirit, and we bring tools, practices, and techniques to help you uplift your energy and elevate your mood, because there is a lot of heaviness in the world, and we can all use a little uplift. I'm excited to share today's conversation. It was originally recorded on the Vivitude show, and we're going to piece it all together for you in one stream so that you can watch the whole thing here. My guest is Laura Lee Robear. Together with her husband, Paul, they are directors of the Cuyamungue Institute, and we are going to be talking about their amazing work with altered states of consciousness. So fasten your seatbelt, stay tuned, and here's the interview. Did you know that across cultures and throughout human history, humans have sought ways to move beyond ordinary awareness? Why? Because when we step outside of our everyday thinking mind, we often discover insights, healing, and connections that simply aren't accessible in the rush of daily life. Today, there is a growing conversation about altered states of consciousness. Psychedelic medicines like psilocybin and ketamine are showing profound impacts and effects for trauma, depression, and anxiety. Hypnosis, my own field, has long been validated as a safe and effective way to enter these states and create lasting change. What is it that unites these approaches? Well, it's a recognition that altered states can open us up to deeper feelings of peace, resilience, connectedness, and possibility. My guest today is Laura Lee of the Cuyamungue Institute, and she explores this through the lens of cultural anthropology. Think of it like yoga. Certain positions open the body and mind in specific ways. Well, in the same way, Laura Lee and her colleagues have studied something called ritual body postures. And these are based on symbols and figures that have been found on ancient cave walls, artifacts across cultures worldwide. So these postures, when practiced with intentions, seem to open the doorway to altered states of consciousness, naturally and without any substances. It's a fascinating blend of academic rigor and ancient wisdom, and it offers each of us a safe and guided way to explore other ways of knowing. So welcome, Laura Lee. Thank you for joining me for this conversation today about how altered states and your work can help us expand what it means to be alive.
Thank you so much, Lauren. It's so good to be here. And altered states have a very, very deep history. They're normal and they're natural. They're just not common in our era today, but they were globally. Why? Because our DNA is designed to enter into these altered states, from waking life into this expanded state of awareness. It's just part of who we are.
Well, I heard you quote something from the founder of your institute once. So I want to get into a little bit about how you came to do this work. And it was something about how we are deprived of.
Ecstasy deprived, she would say. And you're talking about Dr. Felicitas Goodman, the late anthropologist, who was the first to decode ancient artifacts as ritual instructions. She also looked at the world's traditions for entering into these states. And she said, there's so many cultures, but what do they all have in common? If I put all those common steps together into a ritual, then I have what is pivotal and what the human body for millennia has responded to, the set of clues to say, oh, it's time to enter into this state. It's a hybrid state. We say the waking dream. You're in beta plus theta. Beta brain waves are geared towards functioning in our everyday outer reality. Theta is that state of deep sleep, deep mystical dreaming. That's an activation. You journey in your dreams. You fly in your dreams. You enter into another reality in your dreams. So this is that hybrid state of being fully conscious while standing or sitting in a simple posture, and then having a spirit journey, it's waking dream. Very akin to a yoga meditation, but because we've added a ritual to call in this magnificent universe, to say, you are intelligent, you're magnificent, you're alive. and you are us, you are our home. Um,
Yeah.
Interesting things happen.
Amazing. So in my field, the hypnagogic state is widely recognized as useful for
Yep.
accessing intuition, innovation. Thomas Edison was known to bring
Mm,
himself into this kind of semi-trance state in order to have access to uh,
yep.
ideas and insights for the problems he was working on. So how do you see this work being meaningful and practical for people today?
Good question. Well, that state is accessible spontaneously, but it seems our ancient ancestors are very adept at biohacking this, setting up the situations where you naturally step into this. And in fact, Goodman would say if you dial it back far enough, this was our natural state. And to be able to access this at will, do I need to be focused on the waking state? Let's be there. Let's shift gears and focus on this other internal state where I can reach the far ends of the universe and back. I can be part of the cosmic song of life, hear it more clearly. And so she felt that these practices were really to put us back into what we should naturally have access to without any other tools. That's what she felt about it. It was so natural. And so the biohacking is simply the body's wisdom. This is an embodied practice. And tuning, we've left the body behind in terms of our cultural story that we tell ourselves. Women are saddled with original sin. The body's supposed to be leading you into temptation. The early societies felt body of Mother Earth, the body of nature, our bodies were sacred. Everything is sacred. And so let's tune into these beautiful instruments and their full capacities. It was probably a survival mechanism for them to be tuned that intimately to nature, to their ecosystem. And I believe today that none of us can be truly healthy unless all of us are healthy, unless our environment is healthy, because we are part and parcel of that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Even the Navy SEALs. I mean, from what I've read, the book "Stealing Fire" talks about altered
Mm,
states of consciousness and the
yeah.
benefits of psychedelics. Now, you do all this work with no psychedelics. I want to make that very clear. It's a way to access these higher level or additional expanded levels of consciousness. But
Mhm.
even the Navy SEALs, they do this practice. It's not what you do, but they do a kind of practice where they
Sure.
bring their awareness so heightenedly tuned into the body that they can function as a
Mhm.
unit with expanded consciousness that lets them achieve remarkable things. So, give us a taste of how that can be used, and maybe what some of your the people that participate in these practices on a regular
Mhm.
basis, how do they use this?
Yeah, good questions. Well, first of all, no, we don't use outside agents, psychedelics, plant medicine. What we say is that we're able to access and activate the entheogens within. That which supports these expanded states of consciousness are part of our own biochemistry. And so part of our rituals are very powerful. They're signaling the body, and the body responds to what you ask of it. And so the ritual says, hey, let's, and we've seen this in the laboratory, let's pump out some endorphins. That's the ecstatic parts of ecstatic trance. Let's tune in and awaken those inner senses. Oh, they turn on. And let's blood pressure drops, pulse rate rises. That's a very interesting state of relaxation, paradoxical relaxation. It allows the be in the body and be in this more expanded state as well. And what else happens? There's just a lot of processes we don't even know. We were recently invited into a cognitive research lab wearing these EEG caps, doing our ritual, and we can map out that, yeah, there's some interesting shift that happens simply through this ritual. Maybe it's embedded in our ancestral memory to respond like this because we have so many artifacts around the world and through the eras from the Ice Age on that are mnemonic devices to say, hey, sit and stand like this, and it's activating something. The other part of your question was, what do people do today? We have people from all walks of life who are simply interested in and compare this to, hey, I do Reiki. I see a lot of similarities to Reiki. I do yoga. This is like yoga. We are sitting in a posture for deep inner experience. I could call this the yoga of the ancients, far, far ancient. Um, Paleolithic, 20, 30,000 years ago, 40,000, those are the oldest artifacts we use. So this has a long and deep history. And so, how do we use this? We use this for just 15 minutes of a deep dive within. And it can seem like an eternity. It can seem like lifetimes are lived. It can seem like much more than the 15 minutes. And so part of the altered state is that our sense of time is altered. Our sense of hearing is altered. Our sense of perception, visuals, kinesthetics. Um, yeah,
Awesome. Well, when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about what you mean when you say ritual, because we know that even Olympic athletes use rituals.
yeah.
It's a certain series of events. So we're going to come back and talk with Laura Lee of the Cuyamungue Institute. I'm Lauren Archer. We'll be right back. Your mind is your superpower, and learning to work with it can change everything from how you sleep to how you feel and how you show up in life. Hi, I'm Lauren Archer, and I create guided hypnotic journeys to help with sleep, stress, habits, emotional healing, relationships, and overall well-being. You'll find lots of them free on my YouTube channel at Lauren Archer Coaching and Hypnotherapy. And if you want something personalized, I also create custom hypnotic audio programs. Start your journey today at laurenarcher.live. And we're back with my guest, Laura Lee Robear of the Cuyamungue Institute. This is a place where people have been studying for years. How do we access altered states of consciousness by using ancient practices that have been documented, studied academically? And so, Laura, you're going to tell us a little bit about how people have healed, have had profound experiences from these results, right?
Healing is one of the categories of the various postures. We use about 150 now that we've found. And some of these we find in cultures over and over and over and over and over through time. And let's talk about healing. This is a show about well-being. Let me start by saying that, yes, it has been studied academically. We're working with husband and wife team of anthropologists at the University of Missouri, Todd and Christine Van Poel. And we record our sessions. We offer these free and open to everyone. And we record and we let people know the results of this. You're explaining your spirit journeys afterwards. We are documenting these, and we may be sharing these with researchers on various projects, because we are a 501c3 educational research organization. That's our mission, one of our missions. Dispense this widely. It benefits so many people. And also, we want to continue our research. And before I tell you about some of the healing aspects, some of the actual journeys about healing, let me just say that one of the second paper that we've published academically with the Van Poels was about the different categories. So we've gave Todd here some typical journeys anonymously of 4 different categories of the postures we use. And he focused on the healing for one, and he said, when I look at and I categorize the elements of these journeys, looking at hundreds, he said 59% of the healing category, people said the word healing in their recounting of it. We can describe healing in many different ways, but he only used the word healing that came up spontaneously. And people don't know the category. They don't know anything about these postures. We're just saying, hey, hold it like this, hold it like this, hold it like this. Those are different postures. And we don't say anything about them. So we're not leading you into the type of experience that you may have. It is just really what's delivered, what you receive, this vision and what happens. And then we show you afterwards, hey, here's what it is. Here's photographs of the originating artifacts, etc. So this is pretty, and it's because of that, the Van Poels say we can utilize this data from you. You're not leading. And so the majority of people saying, hey, healing, but healing comes in other ways too. We find emotional resolution, Or physical pain can come up in certain areas of the body, and then people go, "Oh, I did have an injury there long ago." It's activated. It feels hot. It feels like something's going on, and then that results, and then this beautiful, cool rush of energy comes in, and people feel this happening. People feel this on a number of ways, physiologically, emotionally, kinesthetically, or certain things can unwind. Often people say, I fell into a daydream, saw a movie reel of an episode in my childhood where a pain point happened, where trauma happened. And I saw from another point of view this unravel. And I was able to forgive who wounded me. I was able to forgive myself. I felt an agent come in to embrace me, often a goddess, to embrace me, to hold me, to appease my inner child, to tell me it's okay. And then all of that trauma resolved. It can happen in that way as well. I have had spontaneous experiences. I don't go into this saying I'm going to have a soul retrieval, but that has happened to me. I've described that happened to me, and a little piece comes in and hits me in the chest. And I recognize it as that lost piece of my inner child. And it's coming home, and I'm holding it as though I'm the mother and the child. God is that standing behind me to welcome all of this, to guide this. It's just extraordinary the different ways where healing can happen. It can also be a little bit, we could say, violent. You can be ripped up. Bear spirit comes forth and rips you from head to toe, splits you open, lays you on a table, tinkers around, swallows you whole, spits you out. And then something happens, some adjustment happens, you're put back anew before the end of our 15 minutes of drumming, and you feel resolved. It can happen in so many different ways, this process of healing.
That is phenomenal. And I love what you said that you don't show the actual artifact. And when you say artifact, it's either a drawing or a statue or something like that, correct?
Yes.
Of
Mhm.
different poses. Can you give me an example of a couple of poses? But I don't want to digress too much. But you don't show the people the actual artifact. You show them how to put their body in the pose. And then they go through the experience. And then when they come out the other side, you show them the artifact. Is that right?
Well, first we go around the circle and we share experiences and we record all of that. And
Okay.
so people are talking about what happened in that journey. Often heat can arise in the body, and that means some part of it is activated. People have said, I had to open my eyes to see if my feet really were on fire. So heat is an indicator of being deep in trance, for example, and that something is working on the body. People are having experiences of flying through the universe, traveling through the universe, going deep underground, going through wormholes up into the cosmos. All the while, they're standing very still in a posture. And so, what's interesting in the healing, particularly, is that these experiences also show up and are felt in the physical body as well. So we're in two places at once. When we say we have a foot in two realms simultaneously, that is our experience. We can also feel like a tiny, tiny point, but the vast universe simultaneously. We can feel these juxtapositions. We can feel like I am here, and yet I'm part of Mother Earth. I feel as big as Mother Gaia. I feel the processes of nature happening. I am witnessing um, so much beyond our physical body. So these boundaries dissolve momentarily, and we become much more expanded. Um,
I
oh,
love
you
it.
asked about postures. I'll show you some of the healing postures, but I won't name them. This is a healing posture,
Okay.
right over the navel. This is a healing posture. Hand over heart, hand over navel. Um, gosh, what a various different heal. I'll show you those two. Those are some of the most powerful of our healing postures.
I love it. And this is, as a 501(c)(3), this is something you offer for free. Anybody can join. Is that right?
We have in-person workshops that we've taught around the world, but also weekly we host Zoom sessions that any and everybody can join in. And you'll get a bit of an introductory lecture if you join us Saturdays at noon Eastern. And we have people around the world that join in. So you'll meet an international, very vibrant community.
I love it. Well, when we come back, we're going to ask Laura Lee about some tips on things that our listeners can do at home. How can you access some of these altered states of consciousness naturally through the use of your own body and these ancient postures and practices? So we'll be right back. Are you a light worker? I know a lot of my friends are. A light worker is simply someone who made the decision to contribute their time, effort, energy, talents towards making this world a better place. And with that in mind, I want to give a big shout out to my friends at the Campaign for Light. Founded by Inez Kopperschlager, the Campaign for Light is a multimedia platform designed to support and unify those who identify as light workers, as well as those who are looking to elevate their energy and get a little bit of support in this crazy time we live in. So come check us out, campaignforlight.com. We have free events and resources. Or if you are a practitioner, we encourage you to consider listing your services as part of our sanctuary support so that we can help connect those people who are providing lightworker services with those who need them most. Campaignforlight.com. We look forward to connecting with you. Welcome back. I'm your host, Lauren Archer, and my guest today, Laura Lee Robear, is talking about ecstatic trance states, altered states of consciousness, and how we can use those states for our own healing, for accessing intuition, greater levels of awareness and knowing. And the key thing about this that I think is really different is that there's no outside influences needed. There's no plant medicine. There's no shaman. There's no priest or third party. This is something that we can all access on our own because it's ancient. It's part of who we are. So, Laura, thanks again for joining us today. And I would love to hear a little bit more about the practical, the hands-on. What are people actually doing in these practices? And how can maybe our listeners at home dabble and experiment a little bit on their own?
Well, I would say there's many, 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 many practices. Find one that works for you. And this is about really navigating our own way through life, which I think is such a sacred quest. So, what do you need? You need your intuition. You need to trust your own feelings. You need to activate your own internal GPS to wend your way through life. And this practice helps activate those relationships. This is about establishing a personal, practical relationship with our universe. This is about spirit beings, about the celestial bodies, about the universe whispering in our ear. This is about our higher guide, our all the layers of us in a flow state, in direct communication, in a dialogue with the all. That is part of our backyard. Claim it. Claim the universe as your own. We are part of a 14 billion year lifespan of this universe that produced us. And we are here to celebrate it, to be in communication with it, to be in an ecstatic relationship with it means communion, means that flow of energy. That is ecstasy to know that we are part of this larger, immense world. We're not isolated, we're not alone. We're not just part of our earth community, we're part of the cosmic community. We're not just part of the fellow humans, we're part of an ecosystem of life. We want to write our relationships with ourself, with our community, with the world at large, and belong to the web of life as we should. We need to reclaim that relationship with it. And by doing that, we are healing our relationships with ourself and the world. And maybe that's where we stand up as change makers. Maybe that's where we step forward and say, we want to do our best to be who we truly are. And so, what I would say is that follow your intuition and find where you belong. Pay
I,
attention to that. We have so much capacity within. Wake it up. We don't need other plant medicine to have these journeys. I appreciate, I respect all the plant medicine and the psychedelics journeys. I've never done any. I've only done this practice and other energetic practices, prayer work. But this, for me, the beauty of this, the self empowerment, is about activating the entheogens within. There's plant medicine can activate the botanical entheogens that are compatible with us, that activate our internal nervous system to support these states. But the body itself has endogenous, inbuilt, bodily manufactured entheogens as well that aren't as readily recognized. If you've had spontaneous mystical experiences, you've activated the entheogens within. And so this is about the ancient system of biohacking, of saying, let's use ritual and all the cues of the body that say, hey, let's activate these systems, these physiological systems. There's endorphins in the blood work that we've seen. There's brainwave expansion, beta plus theta that we see in the laboratory. Pulse rate rises while blood pressure lowers. Something unusual is happening. I think there's a lot more that we haven't yet identified, but we can feel the wheels turning when we are entering into this practice. And exciting and interesting things happen. The body loves this practice. We find that endorphins stay elevated, the well-being endorphins. I mean, that's worth the price of admission. Elevated, surge of them remain for hours afterwards. The body loves these practices, and it's about a homecoming briefly. Get fueled up, come back home to this waking reality. You'll do a better job at it, we find.
That's so powerful, especially now where people feel so isolated, so alone. Depression, anxiety are off the charts. And I love that this is something that is natural. It's something people can access on their own. And it activates this sense of belonging and connectedness, which is so desperately needed right now. So when we come back, we're going to continue talking with Laura Lee and the Cuyamungue Institute and find out how you can participate for free, since they're a 501c3 nonprofit. We'll be right back with the Energy Elevation Lab. I'm your host, Lauren Archer, and my guest today is Laura Lee Robear. Your energy matters, and where attention goes, energy flows. Hi, Lauren Archer here with an invitation for you. I've created a free 7-day energy reset on my website at laurenarcher.live. And it is an opportunity for you to get a taste of what it might be like to work together totally free. I'm using the principles and tools that I use with my private coaching clients to invite you into your own inner experiment where you can use these powerful mindfulness techniques to shift your energy from the inside out. So come check it out. It's totally free on my website, www.laurenarcher.live, not .com, .live, and I will see you there. Talking about how we can access expanded states of consciousness through natural means. So, Laura, you're going to share some stories, I believe, about how people are using this and how they're finding it helpful and how our listeners can get involved if this speaks to them.
Well, I want to commend you, first of all, for this service of really showcasing many, many different paths. And it's about finding the path that works for you and exploring. Hey, this is a big universe. Let's go exploring is my motto. And these are the ways to explore our interiority and the universe in its largest sense. This consciousness studies are really one of the hallmarks of our age. We have so many tools to study it. Part of it is we are our own laboratory. We are our own voyager on these hero journeys to turn up every possible clue that we feel called to. And I think called to is the key here. I was called to this work, and you're called to your work. And your listeners are hearing about a number of different pathways. Do you feel resonance? Then show up, give it a try. We have so many people in our open free sessions on Zoom that will say, for example, we do postures from many, many, many different cultures, and some of the artifacts are found widely. And so Paul was saying, oh, I feel called, because we follow our intuition all the time. I feel called to, hey, let's do this particular posture. Well, a gentleman from Hawaii joined us for the first time. And he said, I've had you on my list for months. I'm finally here. And you have just, when he showed the artifact, you've just done an artifact based on the orca from the Coast Salish. We have orca as well. And in fact, I just named my grandson after the orca, the Hawaiian word for orca. I feel like I had to be here today. Over and over, and I mentioned we have an international audience. Somebody from South America, we did a posture from an artifact in South. She goes, that happens to be, it's my first time here and I had to be here. I knew I had to be here. And you used an artifact that is like part of my ancestry. Those artifacts are found down the road for me. How did you happen to choose that one? And so it appears that we have appointments that are made by our destiny, and we follow those cues. Other people hear the call and follow the cues. Over and over, when you find these moments of synchronicity, it's like the universe is giving you a pat on the back, going, yeah, you listened. You showed up for the appointment we made for you. You know you're in the groove. You know you are in the zone. And that is just part of that community building with the cosmos. So
I love it. Yeah, super important. And so, how can people find you and how can they get involved if they're interested in exploring this? Because one of the things I know is meditation is not for everyone, right? There are certain things we hear all
yes.
of these things like, oh, that's, I've tried it, it doesn't work. So, this is a completely different way to access. And I love that it's international. It's not, culturally appropriated because
No
we are.
dogma, no
Yeah,
isms, no belief system. Is compatible with any another practice. So,
yeah, yeah.
um, well, Paul, we have a very long and hard to pronounce name of our institute, Cuyamungue. Who can spell that? And Paul shortened it for easy access to Cuya.com, Cuyainstitute.com. And it's Cuya, the first four letters of Cuyamungue. And so he said, why do we have a name nobody can spell or pronounce? I'll just shorten it and hopefully people can remember that. So if you just type in Cuyainstitute.com, you will find us. And then go to events and you'll find you need to register for our security, your security. You just type in your name, give an email address, you'll get the invitation. You'll also see on the website there's some introductory material that orients you a little bit about this. But it's normal, natural, easy, and we are so akin to wanting to activate these capacities within that this simple ritual, holding a simple posture, some people go to sleep with this at night now that they've discovered this, that it's just easy and the body embraces it. There's a lot of body wisdom to be activated. This is about honoring the bodies that we are given. They are part and built of Mother Earth, and Mother Earth has her own intelligence and love for us. She's a member of this vast universe. She's a gateway for us to enjoy and celebrate life. And our physicality is beautiful and sacred. And in fact, the scientists of old, Newton, wanted to look at God's handiwork as a means of celebrating God. And we find God's handiwork is all around us, even this beautiful earth suit and vehicle that we've been given. There's so much within to activate. And
Yeah, I love that. And so in a session, I heard you say it's about 15 minutes, right? And you use various elements of, what we would call ritual. So can you share a
yeah,
little bit about what are those elements and what could people expect in a session?
well, the steps of the ritual, as Goodman found them, are quite simple and variable. One is establish a sacred space. The sacred space is established when you join in a ritual. And we find that you're entering into this numinous state beyond time and space as we regularly experience it. So that one of the hallmarks of the group work is that we're all connected and people's experiences all share some of the same elements. It gets to be like spooky effect at a distance or quantum entanglement. We should be studied for that. Seriously, it happens over and over in the most beautiful way. So establish a sacred space. That's just show up for this. And then prepare yourself. By doing that, we just use the gestures of a smudging, brush aside the dust of everyday living. And it's like a dance a little bit. And then we make an offering. We say your heart energy. Your offering is that you've shown up. Your offering is that you're saying, here, universe, I am here and I am here to commune with you. I am open and I am heartfelt and I appreciate appreciate you. This is about celebrating you, universe. That's the offering. Although we use a little bit of cornmeal or something as a gesture. And then it's about learn the posture. Very simple sitting or standing postures. And then Paul will begin to offer the sonic driving, which is a very fast beat of a drum or rattle. And then you stand or sit in there for 15 minutes. It goes by very fast. We time it for you. And then the rattle or drum ceases. That's the body's cue. Oh, now we're going to shift back into waking state, fully beta. And then you journal. Journal is the part of this ritual. What happened? You've got 10 minutes to write down what happened. I could read you many, many journals. They're beautiful. Yeah, and you can fill those pages in 10 minutes. You've got a lot more to say than you think you know. And then we share around the circle for just a few minutes each, highlights of our journey. And then we'll show you the artifact and we'll tell you something about its culture, where it was found, what the archaeologists say about it. And often the artifact has clues that match what happened in the experience. If a lot of people went flying, which is a very common experience, we've seen those artifacts that are replete with feathers. So it gets to be very interesting. Or there's a bird sitting atop the head and headdress. I mean, it gets really interesting. So
That is so fascinating. I love it. Well, so if you want to dive deeper into this, I highly recommend the Cuyamungue Institute with Laura Lee and Paul Robear. And their website is CUYAinstitute.com. And I know for a fact they have got so much free resources available on their site. And it is very welcoming, and you're so welcoming. And I so appreciate what you guys are bringing to the world and the way that you're doing it. You're helping us all get this sense that we are part of something bigger, that we belong, and that is healing in and of itself. So thank you for being my guest today, Laura.
Oh, thank you. And flourishing is a word that comes forth. We hear so much flourishing in everyone's experiences, and we think that that is our natural state of being, and that's the medicine that we dispense.
Thank you again for tuning in to today's Energy Elevation Lab, a place where we provide tools and resources and conversations to help you uplift your energy, elevate your mood, and feel better. We are part of a living universe, and the work that Laura and her husband Paul are doing at the Cuyamungue Institute is profound. If you found insight or inspiration during this conversation, I encourage you to leave a comment and subscribe. Also, check out Laura and Paul's website and all of the work they're doing. They offer free invitations so that you can participate and experience for yourself some of these altered states of consciousness through this ancient archetypal work. And if you want to dive deeper, I encourage you to check out my website at laurenarcher.live. That's .live, not .com. I have free tools and resources and lots of guided meditations, both here on my YouTube channel and on the Insight Timer app. And I have a free 7-day reset that takes you through 7 days of very simple practices that you can do yourself on your own time to shift your energy and elevate your mood. So thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, may you breathe deeper, love wider, and show up with the energy that only you can bring.